What happened to me once is that I did a longer preparation. That was also interesting. That was a doctor who gave me the tip. She said, I see you come from a very, very stressed moment. Have you been considering maybe starting your fast a bit later? And I thought that was very interesting. And at the end, it made sense because you don't want to rush into the fast. I mean, we all know it's a big stress for the body. So I'm Katharina Rohrer. I'm Managing Director at the Buchinger Wilhelmi Clinic here in Marbella, southern Spain. And today I have the pleasure to talk to you about my personal fasting protocol. So how I fast, why I fast, and what I think is important for me. So normally, belonging to the Buchinger Wilhelmi family, of course, I grew up with the topic of fasting. I've been hearing the word fasting all my life. And my first fast was out of curiosity, for sure, to know how it really feels like, a prolonged fast. Because I have to say that when we were kids, we already were submitted some short fasting hours or maybe a day when we felt sick, for example, which is a very natural process. But of course, the prolonged fasting, we don't recommend it for kids and teenagers. So my first fast, my 2 weeks when I checked in the clinic, were also the most important one, or where I felt the biggest impact, I have to say, because it was completely different than what I thought. I started to do it because of prevention, because I knew that fasting regularly is important for maintaining your health and feeling fitter throughout the years, throughout your life, in a better health condition. And I realized that the first days really I had a bigger, I wouldn't say difficulties, but maybe some issues to really get into the right metabolism. And that's when I realized that it's very important to prepare yourself properly. The importance of the preparation day that we recommend here at the clinics, but not just one day, maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, and that it's very important the lifestyle that you have before fasting. So how much caffeine you drank, alcohol, sugar, heavy meals, physical activities, that can all influence your fasting. So the first fasting there taught me a lot about myself and my body. And now I'm trying to do it in the right way every day, every time I fast. So the reason for fasting for me has been changing over the years. So I said my first time was more the prevention, of course curiosity as well, but also prevention, health issues that I wanted to prevent. But nowadays, since I'm a working mom, although I don't like the expression, but it's like that, so I'm being quite busy in my normal life, I'm really doing it to disconnect, which is why also the digital detox is so important for me. So really focusing on myself and what I need personally and not having to focus on anything else or anybody. So that's very important for me. So I fast at least once a year. The prolonged fast, 2 weeks fast, following strictly the protocol that we have in the clinics. And then sometimes I also do shorter fasts whenever I think I really need it. So for example, for health issues, if I have the impression my body's a bit weak, is maybe fighting against the flu or anything, that's when I just take some days without eating, but then I don't follow the strict protocol with enemas, with the salts, etc. And I do it at home. So the 1 year fast, that is really rigorously in the clinic, really checking in and following the whole activities and the whole daily routine. And the rest of the year I try to do, or to at least maintain throughout the week, an intermittent fasting. That's also very important. Just to not be constantly eating and giving the body the time to rest and concentrate on digesting. And that's more or less 14 hours a day that I try to do that. And then whenever I feel the need to really detox for longer time and to use this time for autophagy to really clean out something that the body is processing, then I take some days without food. So normally I would always recommend to do a fast on your own, just because that's my experience. That's when you can really reach the goal of disconnecting and on concentrating on yourself. I did a fast also with my husband, which was fine. Then I have to say in separate rooms, in separate buildings, so that we don't meet constantly. Because, I mean, of course, also if you like each other, no, but you always somehow depend on the other person, or look after the other person, or maybe worry about the person if he doesn't have a good day or whatever and doesn't feel well. So I would always recommend to really try to do it on your own, or at least follow an own routine. And don't look at other people, what they are doing, because the fasting time is really the time that you have for yourself, which most of the people normally don't have in their normal lives. And that's when they should really take the time and be also kind of egoistic in that moment, because everyone needs these times. So yes, I would really at least recommend to try it out and do it on your own. And what people often are afraid of is that maybe they feel lonely, they feel sad. But this is, I would say, never the point, at least if you do it here in our clinic, because you would always meet people. We have so many activities where you have the chance to meet people that are in the same situation. And fasting makes people get closer to each other. That's something we can observe for sure. So I wouldn't be afraid there. Yes, my first long fast was the more impacting one, if you want to say so, for me, where I learned the most about myself and about fasting itself as well, although I thought I knew already everything. But the first fast after having my child was also very important for me. And that's also something I would recommend to every mom. Whenever she feels right, and of course she's not breastfeeding anymore, she should really take some time for herself and give the body a rest. And fast is a very good method in this sense, because it's when everything goes back a bit to the place that it was before, internally within your body. But it's also so important for your mind. It's also so important for really realizing, okay, my child and me, we are not one, we are two individuals, and we can still survive without each other, although, of course, you love each other a lot. So that was, for me, very important to get, again, a bit of distance and, of course, focusing on myself. And that was also the fast where I started to listen to a lot of podcasts, to write a lot of diaries, to think a lot about what I want for my future. So I'm not sure if I took big decisions, but at least I had the impression that everything got back to a way that it made sense. Now, after this, of course, very hesitating and very emotional time of being a mother, of becoming a mother. Yeah. So breaking the fast earlier than I thought, so far has never really happened to me, because, of course, I know from my experience that if I have hunger times, if I feel a bit low, this will pass. I had moments where maybe the nurse told me, "Oh my God, your blood pressure is so low. Are you sure you're feeling well?" But I felt well, and I knew that was okay for me, and I felt totally normal. So I never had this moment where I thought, now I really have to break. Although I always look forward to the food and the refeeding phase, because it's something very enjoyable for me. But of course, it's something that can always happen. And there we always tell also our patients, you don't have to hold on strictly to the 8, 10, 12 days that were defined together with your doctor. If you feel like, you can also break earlier. And we nowadays know that the refeeding phase is also very, very important. So if you want to extend that one, that's also very good and perfectly fine for your health. But as I said before, if there are moments where you feel a bit low, or you dream about eating whatever, or you feel a bit hungry, there are different little tricks that you can use, and often you can overcome this little dip. So it's not that you really have to break the fast then. What happened to me once is that I did a longer preparation. That was also interesting. That was a doctor who gave me the tip. She said, I see you come from a very, very stressed moment. Have you been considering maybe starting your fast a bit later? And I thought that was very interesting. And at the end, it made sense, because you don't want to rush into the fast. I mean, we all know it's a big stress for the body. So take your time and maybe do a longer preparation. Why not? And then you you slide in smoother into the fast. So I hope this video was useful for you. If you liked it, please show it to us with a like, and you can also follow our YouTube channel. There are much more videos with tips for a fast, and also before fasting, after fasting. And thank you for watching.